My friends, welcome back. Dr. Mandell here. If you start your morning with oatmeal, you're already giving your body one of the most heart-friendly breakfasts on the planet. But today, I'm going to show you one special ingredient that can transform your oatmeal from a simple meal into a natural tool your body uses to support cleaner, more flexible, healthier arteries. Every morning, millions of people sit down with a warm bowl of oatmeal, believing they're doing something good for their heart. And they are. But what most people never realize is that inside that humble bowl lies a biochemical phenomenon, one of nature's most extraordinary tools for supporting artery health. And when you combine it with just a single tablespoon of ground flaxseed, something remarkable happens deep inside your body, something scientists have been quietly proving for years. It begins with soluble fiber, a substance so powerful that researchers describe it as a natural nanite cholesterol sponge. Sure, yet most of the population never consumes enough to experience its full effects. When you take your first bite of oatmeal blended with flaxseed, your body starts a process your eyes can't see, but your arteries can feel. As the food travels down your digestive tract, soluble fiber dissolves into a thick gel. This gel doesn't simply move along passively, it actively binds to molecules your body desperately wants to get rid of. And among those molecules is LDL cholesterol, the type that tends to accumulate over time, forming layers inside your arteries like a slow-growing mineral deposit. Scientists estimate that up to 70% of adults have LDL levels higher than recommended for long-term health, but most don't know it because this buildup doesn't cause pain. It works silently, quietly, year after year. The beauty of soluble fiber is that it interrupts that silence. Instead of allowing LDL to circulate freely in the bloodstream, the fiber gel grabs it, holds onto it, and escorts it out of the body naturally and predictably. There's no magic, no mystery, just biochemistry working exactly the way nature designed it. And here's where the story gets even more compelling. Oatmeal alone contains a unique soluble fiber called beta-glucan, one of the most heavily studied dietary fibers on Earth. But flaxseed adds even more soluble fiber of its own, almost doubling the gel-forming power inside your gut. In clinical trials, people who consumed these fibers consistently saw measurable improvements in their cholesterol profiles within weeks. Imagine that, your breakfast having a real, documented impact on one of the most important markers of cardiovascular wellness. But the science goes even deeper than that. When researchers examined the effects of combining different soluble fibers, they discovered something unexpected. The benefits didn't simply add up, they multiplied. This is what scientists call a synergistic effect. It means that oatmeal and flaxseed, when eaten together, create changes in the body that neither food can accomplish alone. Think about that for a moment. These two ingredients, simple, affordable, available in every grocery store, can work together more effectively than many people ever imagined. But why does this matter so much? Because the health of your arteries determines the health of your entire body. Your arteries are not just tubes carrying blood, they are living, dynamic structures lined with cells that respond instantly to the foods you eat. Every single day, your artery walls fight to stay flexible, to stay clear, to stay strong enough to push life through your body. And every day, modern diets overwhelm them with fats, sugars, and inflammatory triggers that make their job harder. Soluble fiber is one of the few natural substances that actively supports what these arteries are trying to do. Instead of burdening them, it lightens their load. Instead of contributing to buildup, it helps remove it. Instead of creating stress, it creates balance. Picture your arteries like highways. Over time, debris accumulates, dust, gravel, broken pieces of what was once smooth pavement. Traffic slows, pressure increases, and the entire system strains. Soluble fiber acts like a cleanup crew, sweeping away the particles that don't belong, keeping the lanes open and the flow steady. In one major study, participants who added soluble fiber to their diet saw a steady downward shift in LDL levels, with some experiencing changes comparable to first-line dietary recommendations in cardiology guidelines. And these improvements weren't temporary. As long as they continued consuming soluble fiber, their numbers continued to improve or remain stable. This is what makes the combination of oatmeal and flaxseed so powerful. It's not a quick fix. It's a daily habit that supports your arteries consistently, quietly, gently, without drugs, without side effects, without complexity. But there's something more shocking. The average adult consumes only about half the recommended daily amount of fiber. That means millions of people are missing out on one of the simplest, safest ways to support cardiovascular wellness. And yet the solution costs almost nothing. A tablespoon of flaxseed, a bowl of oats, less than $1 per day. When you eat this combination regularly, your body begins to shift into a state of metabolic support. Your digestion slows in the best possible way, creating steadier blood sugar levels, longer satiety, and smoother nutrient absorption. Your liver receives less circulating LDL to process. Your arteries experience less friction, less oxidative stress, less long-term irritation, and slowly, day by day, your internal environment becomes cleaner, calmer, more biologically efficient. People often think improving artery health requires dramatic changes, strict diets, intense routines, complicated supplements, but the truth is far simpler and far more empowering. Your arteries respond to whatever you give them most consistently, not what you give them occasionally. And when you give them soluble fiber every morning, you give them a tool that supports their natural rhythm, their natural function, their natural resilience. That is why nutrition researchers continue to highlight soluble fiber as one of the rare dietary components with decades of solid evidence behind it. It supports cholesterol balance, digestive harmony, and metabolic stability, all conditions that contribute to long-term arterial health. So the next time you stir that warm bowl of oatmeal and you sprinkle in that tablespoon of flaxseed, understand that you are not just eating breakfast, you are participating in one of the most well-documented nutritional habits for supporting the long-term health of your arteries. You are giving your body the resources it needs to protect you. You are choosing a small action that leads to a powerful outcome. And long after the bowl is empty, long after the morning is past, your arteries continue to benefit from what you gave them. That is the quiet power of soluble fiber. That is the reason this one ingredient added to your oatmeal can make such a profound difference in the story your body is writing every single day. Inside your body, right now, a silent battle is taking place, one that most people never feel, never notice, and never think about until it's too late. It is the battle of inflammation, not the kind you see after an injury, not the swelling of a cut or bruise, but a microscopic fire that smolders deep within the walls of your arteries. Scientists call it chronic, low-grade inflammation, and it is one of the most powerful forces shaping your cardiovascular health. What makes this so dangerous is that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't show itself on the surface. It slowly alters the inner lining of your arteries, making them less flexible, more reactive, and more vulnerable to the everyday stresses of life. But nature, in its brilliance, created something extraordinary, something capable of cooling that internal fire in a way few nutrients can. And that something is the omega-3 fatty acids found abundantly in flaxseed. When you add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to your oatmeal, you're not just adding texture or flavor. You're delivering one of the most studied anti-inflammatory nutrients directly into your system. Omega-3s, especially the ALA found in flaxseed, enter your bloodstream and begin a process that researchers describe as biochemical diplomacy. Where inflammation sends signals that tighten and irritate blood vessels, omega-3s send signals that calm and relax them. Where inflammation tries to harden the arterial walls, omega-3s encourage them to remain flexible, supple, and able to expand effortlessly with every heartbeat. This flexibility is not a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement for cardiovascular health. When arteries lose their elasticity, the heart must pump harder. Blood pressure rises, and the smooth flow of life that moves through your body becomes a turbulent struggle. Yet a single nutrient, one found in one of the smallest seeds on Earth, has the remarkable ability to influence this system at its core. Researchers around the world have documented how omega-3s help maintain a balanced inflammatory response. They don't shut inflammation off completely, that would be dangerous. Instead, they moderate it, preventing it from becoming destructive. It's as though they remind your immune system to breathe, to slow down, to respond with precision instead of aggression. And what's even more astonishing is how quickly your body begins putting these omega-3s to work. Within hours of consuming them, they are incorporated into the membranes of your cells, including the cells that line your blood vessels. These membranes become more fluid, more responsive, more resilient. The endothelium, the delicate, intelligent inner lining of your arteries, begins to function more gracefully. It dilates more easily, allowing blood to travel smoothly. It communicates more clearly with the nervous system. It regulates pressure with less effort. You feel none of this happening, but your body does. Scientists have uncovered yet another astonishing effect. Omega-3s influence the production of signaling molecules called eicosanoids and resolvins, substances that directly shape inflammation. While certain fats from processed foods tend to produce inflammatory compounds, omega-3s produce compounds that do the opposite. They support resolution, the natural cooling of inflammation after the body has done its work. This is why diet patterns rich in omega-3s consistently correlate with healthier cardiovascular outcomes across populations and cultures. But flaxseed brings something special to the table. Unlike fish oils, which offer EPA and DHA, flaxseed offers plant-based ALA, a type of omega-3 your body can convert and use in its own unique way. And what shocks most people is how powerful ALA is in its raw form. Multiple studies have shown that higher intake of alpha-linolenic acid is associated with a reduced inflammatory burden, improved endothelial function, and more stable cardiovascular markers. In other words, ALA doesn't need to be converted into anything magical. It is already part of the magic. The moment it enters your bloodstream, it participates in a biological symphony that supports the calm, rhythmic flow of your circulatory system. Imagine your arteries as rivers. Over time, stress, unhealthy foods, and aging create roughness along the riverbank, making water flow uneven. Inflammatory molecules act like sharp stones, scraping and irritating as they pass. Omega-3s work like a gentle rain that smooths the edges, softens the surfaces, reduces the friction, and restores calm to the river. This is not theory. This is documented biology. Flaxseed's omega-3s have been shown to support healthier vascular tone, reduce markers of oxidative stress, and promote better blood flow, all essential components of arterial wellness. And here's where the morning oatmeal becomes more than a meal. When you combine the soluble fiber of oats with the omega-3s of flaxseed, you create a dynamic duo that addresses two of the biggest challenges your arteries face: excess cholesterol and chronic inflammation. The fiber works on the cholesterol. The omega-3s work on the inflammation. One cleans the surface, the other calms the fire. Together they create an environment where your arteries can thrive. But the reality is that most modern diets are tragically low in omega-3s. The typical person consumes far more omega-6 fats found in processed snacks, fried foods, and refined oils, which tilt the body toward a state of pro-inflammatory activity. It's like having a fire alarm constantly ringing in the background. Adding flaxseed to your daily routine helps restore that essential balance. It increases your omega-3 intake effortlessly, silently shifting your internal chemistry toward equilibrium. This is not about quick fixes or miracle cures. This is about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do what it was designed to do: maintain harmony. Every spoonful of flaxseed you stir into your oatmeal becomes part of that harmony. Every bite becomes part of a long-term defense system your arteries have been waiting for. And over weeks, months, and years, those small choices create a cumulative effect your cardiovascular system can feel. You may not notice the difference right away, but your arteries will. They will feel the reduced friction, the lower irritation, the smoother flow. They will feel the quieting of inflammation that once burned unnoticed. They will feel supported in a world filled with dietary and environmental stressors. And one morning, as you sit down with your bowl of oatmeal, knowing what's happening inside your body, you'll realize something powerful. A simple seed, one that costs pennies a day, is actively helping your arteries stay clear, calm, and flexible. It is helping your heart work with less struggle. It is helping your body move with more ease. It is helping your future self breathe easier. That is the quiet, steady, scientifically supported power of omega-3s. That is the power hidden inside flaxseed, and that is the power you give your body every time you choose to nourish it intentionally, patiently, and consistently.